that that's not me. I go where I please. I walk through all.
What is going on, everybody? How you doing? To all my people over at the infinitefringe.podbeam.com, I'm recording this live. Out of sheer laziness for the most part, but I'm just want to put this up there for you guys. It's been a bit. How are you? I'm still actively doing things with America Unplugged. So if you want weekly content that I am mostly on, you can find that over on America Unplugged on Apple Podcast or America Unplugged Rumble channel, or anywhere. You could go to AmericaUnplugged.com and find it there. Also, I started doing this show, Gorilla Underground. You can find that on YouTube, Gorilla Underground, and you'll see my face. There's other Gorilla Underground channels. But you'll find me there. You when you see my face, it's mine. I just wanted to reach out to you guys and let you know that I'm still here, doing things. But it's been a struggle to get back into the swing of things and try to be consistent with content in any form. But I think about you guys over at the infinitefringe.podbeam.com often. There was a whole shitload of you for a while, and whomever is still there, thank you for sticking around. Even the people that were there the last time I uploaded something, it must have been about a year ago, or close to it at least. And there were still a few thousand people there, which I thought was amazing. So thank you for being there. Now, my intention is to do some stuff, and upload some stuff and provide some content, but it'll be different than what people are used to. Maybe not towards the end of the Infinite Fringe or towards the last year of the Fringe. We were really pushing back on a lot of the stuff that was going on in the alt media and a lot of the stuff, in parapolitical world. So, but I feel like, in reflecting on everything that I've been a part of as I got involved in the alt media, I feel like I've had some revelations, and I'm like, I still want to do something in the space. I will no longer be referring to it as alt media. I don't want to have anything to do with it, to be honest, guys. Besides you people, I really don't want to have anything to do with it. I can't stand the majority of the content that's put out, the dishonesty, the misinformation and disinformation that has taken hold. Well, you can make an argument that it's been this way since I got involved, but that's almost the most accurate statement out of all of this, but it became evident to me, as a lot of you know, for some time now. Now, I got involved in this genuinely to attempt to make a change, right? To attempt to throw my 2 cents in the bucket of change, of spiritual and mental revolution, right? Of honesty and seeking the truth no matter where it leads. A lot of the people that are involved in this type of media and a lot of the listenership aren't interested in that. They're not interested in the truth, and they're not interested in trying to find out what that truth is. And when they do find out the truth, they just, shut it down. They don't accept it. And there's a lot of that's gone on, and I've seen it firsthand. but I still want to do something in the space. And I think the best way I can go about doing that is, we can still talk about the surveillance state and what they're doing in that aspect, because that is factual and can be backed up. We can talk about mental colonization. We can talk about cognitive freedom, because that is a thing, so we could definitely talk about that. I want to talk about, of course, the injustices going on in the United States of America and around the world. What's up to all my people in the UK? I always had a lot of people listening in the UK. So what's up to you guys? Canada, what's going on? You guys always gave me support. And anywhere else around the world, but those are the two areas that I remember, giving me significant support, but even if you're one person in, I don't know, I remember I had like a listener in Iran once. I don't know if it was once or more than once, but it was like one or two people, even you guys, thank you for listening. But I want to continue to push back on Donald Trump and continue to push back on the MAGA mentality. And what's one of the main examples as to what's happened here in the alt media with the old school crop of conspiracy theorists and now the new school crop of conspiracy theorists. We'll go over that throughout the course of the show. That's providing I get anything launched, right? I literally heard a Radiohead song. How to Disappear Completely. I was listening to that and it inspired me to come on here. I'm not even feeling so well. I've had a rough week as far as my health. I'm all right. I either had the flu or I had COVID, one of the two. I did lose my sense of taste for a little while. So there's that, but I feel a lot better now. I'm just congested and I'm tired. So I was watching the World Cup and I'm sitting on my couch because France advanced to the semifinals, and I just had my headphones on and afterwards because I didn't feel like getting up. And Radiohead came on, How to Disappear Completely. And it's such a haunting song, and if you know what it's about, right? It's like, oh, I could kind of understand this to a degree. Well, it's like, let me get on and record something. I've been wanting to record something for quite some time for the infinitefringe.podbeam.com. And even when I do live shows for the Guerrilla Underground, I'm like, I don't want to throw this up. I don't want to put this up. I just don't want to put it up on the stream. But this is for the stream. It's on the other places that I am currently streaming on because this is the way I record. But this is for that. And it's for you guys, whomever is existing there. So I'm planning on changing the Infinite Fringe into the Guerrilla Underground, most likely. I may still do shows called the Infinite Fringe, but the name of the stream will not be the Infinite Fringe anymore. If I move forward with any of this, right? And I want to talk about the surveillance state. I want to talk about technocracy. I want to talk about mind control. And I want to talk about how your thoughts are not your own. And of course the parapolitical, but I also want to talk about cults, because I came to the realization that I've been a part of one for a while, and I'm like, it's a leaderless cult, right? It's not a traditional cult, that where they have like Sun Myung Moon or what is it, David Koresh, or somebody like that, a figurehead that is having sex with all the women and, just feeding everybody a bunch of nonsense and they believe it no matter what. But it was a cult nonetheless. A cult where I refused to accept certain things, although I actually believe that I was a true believer in a lot of the things that I put out. And then I platformed some things that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I would try to justify it by saying it's a theater of the mind. I'm just presenting these ideas. I'm not endorsing them. I'm just presenting them. And there's I guess there's an argument to be made for that sort of thing. I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to do it. I want to either push back on things that I don't agree with or have on things that I do agree with and try to promote those things. I still want to continue to be as transparent as possible and as honest as possible, which is something I tried to do the entire time I was doing the show. You know, and I had a lot of fun with the show. I met a lot of great people with the show. But it was littered with things that I could not prove. And on top of that, things that were easily disproven. You know, and this is where a lot of us rest. And I just want to tell you that, you know, if you're listening to this and you're like, what the hell, right? I am the main example of this because I decided that I would start a podcast to try to push back on all of this stuff. And I had the purest of intentions. But I was lost. They'd use the term awake a lot here. You're awake. You're not. You're not. And I certainly wasn't. I probably still am not. But I am in a different place, right? I feel like I've traveled outside of our bubble. Am I in another bubble? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. But I know I'm no longer where I used to be. And I'm happy with that. I want you, whomever is listening, if you want to stick around, to take this journey with me. I'm not expecting to grow an audience the size of what I had at the peak of the Infinite Fringe. We did millions of downloads, and I thank everybody for that. But that's not what this is about. And it wasn't what it was about the first time, even though I kind of got wrapped up in it for a little while. You know, but it's not what it was about. I mean, definitely I want to talk to people, right? It's demoralizing to sit down and talk to no one. Right? Even though, like, you know, the first podcast I ever did, I had like 30 downloads or something, you know, and like whatevs, right? I was like, oh shit, 30 people are listening. But then, you know, that starts, you know, getting less. I mean, you start wanting more and more and more and more. And then when you get more, it's hard to go back. So that's another reason why it's hard for me to do these things, because it's like, you know, and I took the decision to stop, and I just stopped cold turkey, and I had to do that. I had to do it. I was so disgusted with everything, and I was so disgusted with the pushback I was receiving and what I was seeing from people that I thought I knew, that I was like, you know what? I'm done. I just walked away and left it. And I flirted with it for a little bit, you know, and said, hey, you know, we're going to try to do this. We're going to try to do that. But it's, you know, it's a life is a hell of a thing, you know, and you get busy and things come up, you know, so it started falling in my tier of importance, right? It's just lower and lower and lower. The podcast itself, not the people. I thought about the people often, but this is something I had to do. And right now I feel like I am in a position where I can help a little bit and try to pull people out of where I was, you know, try to pull people out of where we were all together. Some people may not want to leave, and a lot of people come to these realizations on their own. No matter what I say or anybody else says, they're not gonna stop thinking the way they're thinking. But we're going to try to expose some of these things. And I gotta find a whole new crop of people to do it. Right, the alt media, when I was doing the Fringe at its height, there were so many people that I already knew because I was involved in the game, right? I was listening to these people. So I was like, I just reached out to them, and so many people came on, and I met so many brilliant people that were wrong a lot of the time. That doesn't make them any less brilliant. They were brilliant. We were just misled, a lot of people, but some people it was worse than that. They were doing the misleading. And people like Alex Jones, what a disappointment. What a disappointment that guy turned out to be. And maybe he was always this way, But now I have disagreements and discontents with everyone, just about. Some bigger than others. But still, I want those disagreements because I believe firmly in what I believe. And I am open to admitting how deceived I was with certain information. It's wrong. A lot of shit is wrong, guys. There's a lot of shit that we can't prove. So much of it. So much of it. So I want to talk about cults. Because I came to that realization. I'm like, man, this is a giant fucking cult. And I've been a part of this shit for quite some time. And you know what? I don't want to be a part of a cult. I don't want to be a part of a cult. And in some way, shape, or form, you can make an argument, right, that everybody is in some type of freaking cult, right? To a degree. Like, I have Apple products. There's a book called the Cult of Mac. And I would certainly fit. I have so many. I'm talking to you on an iMac right now. I have an Apple phone. I have an Apple Watch. I have an iPad. I have a iMac. What is it? A MacBook Pro. Two of them. These earbuds. I got what is it? AirPod Maxes. The whole deal. I have it. I enjoy the products. But that could be described as cult behavior by some. But I want to have people on that have been part of cults. I want to have experts on that talk about the cult mentality, and why people fall into cults, and how to better approach people that loved ones or friends or even audience members that are a part of a cult, and you want to try to make them see that in a way. My approach, especially during MAGA, is very, confrontational. As people come at me, so I'm like, okay. I've always kind of been like that, but maybe it's not the best way to go about this, right? And I want to figure that out. I'm telling you now, I'm far from perfect. So I'm going to screw this up. And it's at some point, but I invite you to come along with me as I explore this world and try to figure this out. We'll never probably get the answers that we're seeking, but at least we can shine a flashlight on what's going on and get a better picture as to why people do what they do. It's become so hateful. So hateful. And I think Donald Trump is a manifestation of the United States and conspiracy culture in particular. That man is representative of the condition that so many here in the United States are in. Mentally and physically, of course, but I'm talking about mentally and spiritually as well. People call themselves Christian, yet they're for killing people in other countries and from other religions just because. People call themselves Christian, And they want to force everyone else to be a Christian just like them. They can't understand or accept that maybe you're different, that maybe your walk is different, that maybe there are different ways to do different things. No, there is one way, and they know it. And you need to abide by that. So says they. I want to dig into Christian nationalism. That's a cult. That's a cult. MAGA is a cult. I want to talk about that. And yeah, man, conspiracy theory and conspiracy theorist culture is cultish. And I'm not using the ish to saying kind of cult. No, it is a cult, but you know, it is a full cult. It's a full-on cult. There's different degrees of the people that are in it. But I've seen so many deny reality just to be able to sustain the beliefs that are already living in your mind or in their minds. They deny empirical evidence, right? The whole deal of the truth movement was to make it to the truth, right? To try to figure out what this is all about. But a lot of people, when they see the truth, they turn away from it. And I've said this many times, but my biggest disillusion with all of this was when piece of filth, the child in chief, became the president of the United States. And he's ushering in the new world order quite literally. Quite literally. And the people that have been taught what the new world order looks like, the people that live their lives listening to information and trying to find out what the powers that be, what it's going to look like when they take over or when they're attempting to take over, right? And then it's happening. And they either endorse it, endorse the New World Order, endorse the pedos. Yeah, let's endorse that. That's cool. That's fine. That's not a problem. The dude that said that we're going to get rid of these people, right? We're gonna dig into it. I never believed it from the get, and you guys know that. And I know there's a lot of you that never believed it either, but there's a lot of people that did. In particular, here in the alt media, there are so many people that freaking did. And now they're trying to act like it's all good. And that shit is upsetting to me. Now they're trying to act like, oh, no, we were never with this. Maybe I shouldn't be upset by it, but I am. Because they were instrumental in getting us here. And I've been screaming at the top of my lungs for years now. But here we are. There's no denying this anymore. I mean, if you deny it, you're denying it to yourself. Because reality is somewhere that you do not live. If you don't think that this has gone completely off the rails. And then there's so much hate with one another. We hate people that don't look like us. We hate people from other states and people from cities. We hate them too. It's all bullshit. And it's been the ultimate conspiracy. How they've turned us all on each other here. How they've gotten us to believe that the dumbest man on the planet is going to save us. They got us to believe that. They got us to believe that. Twice. President twice. Some people voted for this guy 3 times. And I have to, I mean, I rack my brain about it often, but I want to figure out how we got here. So I'm going to make an attempt to do that. And that's what this show is going to be about. I don't know how successful I'll be. I don't know for how long I'll keep it up. Right? I don't know how consistent I can be at this. But I'm going to take a stab at it. And hopefully I can get some people on to talk to me. There are some people from the alt media that I keep. It's not many anymore. And I'll bring people on to disagree with me sometimes, you know? Maybe I'll ask Mr. Gates to come on and we still keep in touch. And maybe we'll have a conversation on cults. I feel like we're in a cult. He may feel differently. But that's what I want to do. Because we need rehabilitation. We need recovery. We need recovery. And there are outlets for that. I am certainly not the first, and I won't be the last, but I want to contribute. This is the reason why I got into this in the first place, was because I wanted to contribute something. I wanted to do something, and I didn't know what to do. So I was like, well, maybe I could start a show. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with starting one of these shows. Because people will believe you. And I tried to be as transparent as possible and say, hey, dude, I'm in the kitchen, man. I'm just some dude here. But people will follow you. So I want to attempt to do this better. I want to attempt to do this with some honesty and some integrity. I had honesty before and integrity. I was just wrong. I was wrong about so many different things. And many of your favorites are absolutely dead wrong. And I know if I got my fair share of haters, I know you're looking at me and saying, oh, here goes Billy talking that nonsense again. Look around you, though. Honestly. Look around you honestly and see what's going on. It's not good. So let's try for a little bit. And so I'm gonna try to update the feed. I'm gonna put this up there, right? I'm gonna put this up there on the Infinite Fringe tonight. If I don't do it tonight, it's not gonna get done. So I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna throw it up there. I'm gonna see how many people are still there. And I just want to give you guys, an update of what will be happening with the stream, at least throughout the summer. I'm going to attempt to get people on to talk about the things that I mentioned previously. I'm still going to do America Unplugged. Of course, you can find me there with Tony Arterburn and Don Jeffries. And the live recordings of Gorilla Underground should be on Sundays. And that'll be off and on. I can't guarantee that I'll be on every Sunday, but I'll try to get on and do that. But I want to start doing old school style podcasts that are straight to audio, not necessarily live. At least for a little while longer. And then if I need to stop, I'll tell you. I'll just say I'm just full transparency, man. I don't expect to be able to finish this project. I don't. But I do want to give it a stab. And I feel like it's unresolved with people over at the infinitefringe.podbeam.com because I just stopped. So maybe this is some closure for me. I don't know. Let's see if I can get anybody to talk to me. I'm going to be talking. I'll do some shows on my own, of course. I'm perfectly comfortable doing that. But I want to talk to people in the trenches. I want to talk to people that have been involved in cults, whatever cult you've been involved in. I want to talk to you. How did you realize you weren't a cult? You know, how did you pull yourself out of it? Did something pull you out of it? Did somebody help pull you out of it? It's everybody's story is different. And I feel like if people listen to other people's stories, they could draw some inspiration from that and try to get out. Me, I had to freaking do live radio, you know, and meet these people and talk to them to figure out that it was a load of crap. You know, I know a lot of you are a lot smarter than that, because I had to get smacked in the face by it in order to figure out that something was seriously wrong. And I had to get smacked in the face a few times. You know, because I would abandon one thing and I'm like, you know what, these people aren't what I thought they were, but everybody else should be fine. And I kept going. You know, and then I tried to present it in my way. I try to rationalize it in my way. I legit thought I was being factual on a lot of these things. And I was not. I was wrong. We are going to attempt to do this as factually based as possible. And of course, I'm going to be wrong again. That's just the nature of this thing. But I want you to come along with me and let's figure this out. Cults, mass surveillance, technocracy, mind control. That's it. That's it. Parapolitical. And of course, activism. We'll have some of that on, you know. I invite anybody to listen, whether you're on the far right or the far left, you know, or a centrist. Like, the main thing you need to do, this is the if I never come back on this stream, the one thing I'd ask for you to do is to diversify your outlets for news and information. Step out of Fox News. Not that I ever watched that shit, but I did watch Russia Today for a long time. Just step out of that. Get uncomfortable. Go listen to someone you disagree with, and then try to see why they're saying what they're saying instead of just shutting it down. But most importantly, diversify what you're feeding your brain. If you stay in one place, you're going to get one result, and it's the result that they seek to give you. And you accept it willingly. Like, yeah, this is where I want to be. But the world isn't built like that. It's not black and white. There are many colors in between. And to fully understand what's going on here, you will need to step out of your comfort zone. So let's do it. All right. I'm going to throw this up on the infinitefringe.podbeam.com today. Hopefully there are still some of you there. And we'll move forward from there. I love you guys. I loved everything we did together. Even though a lot of it was wrong, we had a lot of good times together, you know, and everybody that would write me, and, you know, it was fun. I can't say it wasn't. And of course, you know, I met some fantastic people that I still have as friends today. But it was a rude awakening also. The Lord puts you on a path, right? You follow that path, and you make the most of it. So I followed the path, and I am where I am today as a result, and I am thankful for that. So, I'm going to continue doing that. Hopefully you guys can do it with me. And if you guys know any time travelers, I'm still open for that. I'd love to talk to some time travelers. So we can still do that too. All right. Shouts to Mr. Gates. How are you? Neil Sanders. What's going on? Jeremy Roshka Show. What's up? John Brissom. Tony Arterburn. What's up, guys? How you doing? Sabs S90. What's up, Ashley Angry Tiger? What's going on? And you know what? And I'm gonna call out people. Also, I'll tell you that I'm gonna call out people, and some people are uncomfortable. They get uncomfortable. I don't understand that childish bullshit either. And my tolerance for that, it doesn't exist. It's maybe somebody will come on that talk me down that ledge and be like, listen, this isn't the best way to go about it. And I'm almost positive that it's not. But I don't have tolerance for people that can't come to terms with me calling somebody out after they've obviously fucked up. And then they come back, oh, man, that was unprofessional. You shouldn't. Fuck it. What's so professional about any of this? It's never been professional. Unprofessional. And even if professionalism, what would you pick? Professionalism or the truth? I know what I would pick, because this is what we're here for. Not here for professionalism. Oh, it is, I think it was in bad character that Billy is calling out his fellow podcasters. Where did they do what I said they did? Did they do what I said they did? And you know they freaking did. So who's the one with the problem? All right. So if these are things that you're not willing to hang around for, totally get it. Totally get it. 100%. I'd love for you to stay with me. But if you don't want to, I totally get it. And I don't want you to either. I don't want you. I don't want you to be somewhere you don't want to be. So I totally get that. No hard feelings. God bless. And thank you for listening to anything that I've done. I appreciate you regardless. But this is where we're going. So I wanted to give people over at that stream, before I converted it, a fair warning. I didn't want them to wake up one day and just see something different there, and I've gotten that from podcasts, and it's like, oh my God, what the hell happened? There's no explanation. So here's the explanation, and let's see what happens moving forward. All right. I should be on America Unplugged on Saturday, live, 12 p.m. Eastern, on the Rumble channel, America Unplugged, on my X account, Obi-Wan, you know me, on you know where to find it. I should be, considering I continue to improve health-wise, I should be on. And Gorilla Underground YouTube channel. If you guys, haven't already subscribed, whomever is still on the Infinite Fringe stream, you can go over there on YouTube. Just search up Gorilla Underground. There's about 3 or 4 Gorilla Underground channels, but you'll see my face in one of them. So it's me, Billy. Hi. Anyway, again, if you're still there, thank you. What else can I say? But thank you, and I will try to reward your patience with some content this summer. Right? All right. Cool beans. See you guys soon. Live from New York. It's Saturday night. Not really. It's Thursday night, but I just wanted to say that. Be good, everybody. Love you guys. God bless. Bye-bye.